Shalom everybody, Shalom Itamar.
Hi.
Welcome to another Q&A video, and we want to start right off with our longtime patron and our friend Casey Coons.
Hey, Casey.
He has a question about some photographs that we have seen of the Night King that kind of looks like Bran in terms of facial features, and that got him thinking, and I guess there are maybe other people who are theorizing about this, that maybe Bran will become the Night King, and the Night King now, he's the future Bran. So he was the guy that the children of the forest stabbed with a dragon glass thing, and maybe Bran will be the Night King. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to Katya Lapochinka from Kiev, Ukraine. Hi, Katya. She sent that on Facebook. In the Bran dream vision, we see a shadow of a dragon above King's Landing.
Right.
She says maybe he sees that because he will warg into a dragon and float above King's Landing, and it's not a dragon from the past, not from the time where there were dragons, but it will be Bran. The reason that he sees this is because he is a dragon.
He's a dragon. Yeah.
Let's go to Tom James White, a new patron. Hi, Tom. He says that maybe little Robin is Littlefinger's son, and also this is why he's weak. Littlefinger is weak, and maybe this is how he got Lysa to be super loyal to him. Like, he didn't just leave it to chance in the hopes that she would remain in love with him. She has his son with her.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He also strongly believes that Littlefinger stopped loving Catelyn the moment that he lost.
Yeah.
He says that Littlefinger never mentions her, almost never mentions her.
Yeah.
And maybe he only loves someone who can help him climb the ladder.
Yeah.
And that's how he loved Catelyn. I don't know. I like that. I like it that it was his soft spot, and that will be his undoing with Sansa.
Yeah.
But maybe he only loves Sansa because she is his meal ticket. He can be king with her. Without her he cannot be king.
Yeah, but I like it better that he's not this ultimate utilitarian that only uses people. Of course, he's 99% that, but
yeah,
just a small percent of like this nostalgia, soft spot, human heart, you know, whatever.
Right.
I like it better.
I prefer that with you. Another new patron, Pericles Toskas. Pericles. An American Greek.
Pericles.
Now here is his bold prediction. He thinks that he will release both remaining books at the same time and will do so before the final season of the series. There is no way that he writes linearly, right?
Yeah.
I think it makes sense from a publishing standpoint that this is why it took so long.
Yeah.
He said, I want to make them both at the same time, and maybe they will come out both before season 8. And if you want to add some kindling to the fire of speculation, there's some speculation that season 8 will come out in 2019. So maybe that will give him some time to release both books. I like this bold prediction.
I wish.
Yes.
Yeah, really, I wish.
What do you think? Let's go to Ashley Foster, another patron. A lot of patrons today. He says that Buddhism has helped him become more compassionate and a vegetarian. And he wants to know, has Buddhism shown as a productive tool for social change or just for personal development? I think that's an interesting question. There was one Buddhist king, Indian king, Ashoka.
Yeah.
And he only became Buddhist after he killed everybody in order to become king.
Yeah.
But he didn't enact, like as far as I remember from school, he didn't enact like great social reforms. I think it's more of a tool of personal development.
Yeah, I remember asking this question actually. My professor, Amos Biderman, the Indian philosophy professor, one of the great teacher I ever had. I remember asking him like, okay, where's morality in Buddhism? And he was like, morality is more like of a Western thing in that sense. Like how to change society, how to influence society. Buddhism is more like, he said like, also calling it a philosophy in Indian ears is a little like misleading. It's more like a technique also.
Right, and it's not just something that you think about. You live it.
Yeah, and they didn't aspire, or they didn't aspire to like build a Buddhist society. Never. It's on the contrary. It's about escaping life.
Right. And actually, Buddhism was known as the middle way in between other religions that all told you that you have to go to the forest, go to the mountains, whatever. You have to go out of society, to retire from society, whatever. So it was meant as the opposite of a social change. It's like, whatever, I give up, I go to the woods, and I will make my life better. Yeah. So I'm not sure it's a political ideology. It can be, I don't know. Okay. But it's a good question, though. Let's go to Pax. Itamar. Parabéns pelo português. Brazil is cheering for you guys.
Yeah.
Did I read it correctly?
Parabéns pelo português. Yeah.
Parabéns português?
Yeah.
You speak Portuguese?
Sim, eu falo pouco.
Okay.
Pouco.
Okay, let's go to a new patron, Joe Thompson, who wrote us a comment about Michael Jordan because we were talking about maybe LeBron becoming the GOAT, the greatest of all time. So he actually went to school with Jordan. I was like, what the fuck? Wow. And my first question was he an asshole back then? Because Jordan was like, I rooted for the Bulls. I had like a jersey, Jordan jersey. But obviously, he was an asshole.
He was an asshole. The main difference between LeBron and Jordan is LeBron is the king. Jordan is the despot, basically.
And players love LeBron. Nobody really loved Jordan. They admired him, but
bullied them. Yeah, he bullied them.
So his answer was very interesting. Let me read it to you. I knew a lot of athletes at the time. Jordan was typical. He didn't become unapproachable until he became a Chicago Bull. I sat with him in Portuguese language class and Black history. I also worked at a bar that he would sometimes come by. He never drank alcohol, but he did have many girls around him. Boom, boom, boom. I also knew Loris Taylor. Now there are many incredible stories about his antics around the dorm. Holy shit, he is not human. But this is about something else. It's like a football. It's a football player. Yeah, it was a little bit wild. So now we got some insight about Jordan at school. Come on, that's awesome. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
Let's go to Prasanna Tambarakar, Kathmandu, Nepal. You were just there.
I was just there, yeah.
Awesome channel, guys. Thanks. Now that Trump has pulled out of the Paris Accord, do you think that mankind will survive the next century? If he was in the world of Game of Thrones, which character do you think he would be? Joffrey. But do you think we can survive this century?
Yeah, we will survive this century. Not all of us, but we will survive this century.
I think that us, personally, we wouldn't survive the century. I don't think that we will still be alive in the next century. Most of people watching and us.
I think we will.
You think we will live 83 more years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
we'll be like 115 or something?
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. But we are approaching, of course, the point of no return. And I think that one has to ask him or herself if the Republican Party, the right-wing American Party, is anti-science, anti-knowledge, anti-survival of the species, why are they still getting people to vote for them? Isn't that like important? I don't know. Just think about it. Think about it.
Because television.
Because of Mexicans and Muslims.
Because television.
Okay.
Television is the great stupefier.
Okay, so now YouTube. Boom. Let's go to Perno Lewis. How would Tywin handle the invasion, Daenerys' invasion, if he were alive? Let's assume Tyrion and Varys still escaped. But just Tyrion didn't go and kill his father. So no Cersei. So no the Faith militant. And now Daenerys is coming over.
I think he will try to assassinate her a few times. Maybe manipulate her. Maybe, offer alliances and stuff like that. He will probably, make deals with the free cities,
But it would be very, very hard still. Because the Dornish hate him. The Ironborn hate him.
Yeah.
And the North, he would have lost the North, I guess, anyways, because he left the Boltons to fend for themselves anyways. So the situation was dire, was going to be dire anyway.
Yeah.
I think his death was more symbolic to create a vacuum and to expedite and accelerate this descent into chaos. Because Cersei is crazy. Even Littlefinger, he said he had a 5-year plan and Cersei did all the stupid things like in 4 months or something.
Yeah.
So maybe it would have taken a longer time, but the end result would have been the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last question, Joseph Naeem. I think he's from India. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. First of all, he wanted to know why we never gave him a shout out, and that was after I picked his question for this. So you got your shout out, Naeem. Here is a question for you that I don't think that you have ever answered. What will happen to the Dothraki at the end of the story? They just don't fit in with the story. What happened to the Mongols, who were the inspiration?
Yeah, I think we talked about it in our video.
It was one of our very first videos. Maybe a lot of you haven't watched it.
We'll put the link in the description. Basically were assimilated, sort of, like 2 ways assimilation.
They a lot of them stopped being nomads.
Yeah, and they became like, parts of the Chinese Empire, part of the steppes there in Russia and stuff like that. They still have like Mongols in Russia till today.
It came into Europe later on.
Yeah. So as a society, I think the Dothraki will become like civilized in some sort because
in the books
because they'll get like the spoils of war.
Right, we talked about that.
Yeah, and part of the spoils of war is like settle down, you know, get a castle.
As the rampage through the free cities, maybe a lot of them will stay behind and not go on to cross the narrow sea. That makes sense. I think it works well story-wise.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think? If you want us to answer your question, you should go to our Twitter page or to our Facebook page, GOT Academy, right? Tweet us and send us your questions. We hope you enjoyed this video and we hope you would find it in your heart to support our hard work. We put in a lot of work for every video, so it will help us make it through the long haul during the season, after the season. So think about it. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching. We'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody.